vast orange orchards in Tripoli, and when they were in bloom, the whole city smelled like citrus. If you steal an apple, it's a crime. If you withhold an apple from someone who's hungry, it's not. If you can survive the violet night, you can survive the next. Hello everyone, thank you for being with us today. So excited to be in this cozy little intimate space with you all to talk about poems. What was your name, by the way?
I'm Ephraim.
One more time?
Ephraim.
Ephraim, what a beautiful name. I know everyone in this room now, so that's why I wanted to make sure that we're friends, Ephraim. Also, I really like your style. So yeah, I'm just gonna read some of the hits and then we'll talk about poems. Most everyone in this room has heard these poems a zillion times, but let's do it again. Today, the thing that's really on my mind is the genocide in Gaza. I just think about it all the time. I think it's so wild how many people think that they would have been on the right side of history, you know, looking back on things. I remember learning about like the Holocaust and the Civil Rights Movement when I was in school and thinking like, oh, I hope I would be the kind of person who is courageous enough to be on the right side of this. And as I've gotten older, I see so many people just going about their lives like this doesn't matter, like it doesn't affect them. And I just find it infuriating and disheartening. At the same time, I have seen a lot of folks who are using their platforms, whatever little platforms they have, to say something. So I feel like even if you're in a room of just a handful of people, it's just important to talk about Palestine and how everyone deserves to be free. All right, that was my probably too long of a preamble for a 10-minute reading.
It was necessary.
All right, I wrote this poem in 2020 when the Lebanese economy first started really spiraling. And since then has only gotten worse because of Israel's assault not only on Gaza, but also on Lebanon, specifically southern Lebanon, which is still occupied. Hunger. Imaginary, the value of the pound. And yet when it drops like an apple rotted from its branch, my family may starve. 1,507 pounds to the dollar. What that means if you're not an economist? A kilogram of meat is now a luxury. A line huddles outside a Beirut bakery, though the price of subsidized bread is up again. The worst financial crisis in 150 years, the World Bank says. And I don't see the story anywhere here, in my house with its lights on, where I choose to skip meals. Once, we were stitched together by food stamps. Dirt poor, my mother describes it, though land is more valuable than almost anything. America in its incongruent abundance. Fields of corn and the hungry in the streets, the cattle well fed, security guards in grocery stores. If you die from hunger, the spirit goes searching for food, and the wanting never stops. Hard to say what you do to live. My father picked an apple from someone's tree, was chased until he dropped it. If you steal an apple, it's a crime. If you withhold an apple from someone who's hungry, it's not. It doesn't get much lighter from there. I want to read this poem just because we're going to have a discussion afterwards, and this is one of my favorite poetry prompts I stumbled on while writing this poem, which is to write a poem as though every line is a beginning of a new poem. If you're ever stuck with writing, this is a really helpful prompt just to get your wheels spinning, kind of like take the stakes away from the page for a minute and just try to think of new things with every line. So this is called Poem of Beginnings. The green earth yawned, The babies cried in gluey cocoons, aware at once of the difficulty of having a body that rides through space on a warm rock. A rock! It was all downhill from there. Everything was hard, and we all lost our minds. We bottled water for fuck's sake, flung the barn doors and burnt the hay. You know someone is telling the truth when they're on fire. I thumb the hot stove moments too long, because I am an untold number of electrical currents away from being dog food. The graffiti sprawling the overpass says, "The cruelty is the point." The babies agree. I am sick of towing my body around, showing it the strange world like a newborn. All this wonder and nowhere to rest. Have you seen my heart? The lost dog flyer taped to the street lamp asks. Oh, heart, you're needed back home. Boughs and blossoms trailing you like a wedding. The moon and you have some explaining to do. Once upon a time, I was invited by Ada Limon, ever heard of her? Yes. To contribute a poem for her anthology. And this is the one she didn't take. It's so good, I promise. That's a bad way to introduce a poem, I realize. Like, it was rejected. Mother of forgetting, having done it before, how to coax from seed the slow bolting radish winnowing on my sill, I worry, sowing under a star that so loved a rock it begat snowshoe hares and sugar maples and earthworms and swamp sparrows. Summer might go on, and the first frost may never show, and the heat shorting my mother's breath as she ambles up the porch steps, the smoke slung wherever the current carries it, will leave no place for her on a warming planet. My mother, who used to say her plight was to live long and suffer, like sulfur cosmos repeating themselves through the sidewalk, we are doomed to survive, whose heart hums like wind in dry reeds, and now longs for more time to pocket sea glass and slip her feet in the spilling waves on a beach she's never been, where the world will not end when she does. And I could go on loving it all. I could love it when she can't. Sure. Thank you for keeping me on time. I love to ramble and talk between my poems. I know. Quick. Anyone have any requests? Hi.
Sorry, I'm so rude.
Oh my goodness, no.
I get off work at 7, so.
Thank you for coming. It's good to see you. Jeff was just keeping me honest and being like, just 2 more. And then stop.
I want to talk.
All right. I'm going to read only 2 more. They are both what I consider to be my free birds. If a poet can have a free bird. This poem is based on a completely true story as told by my father to me and my incredulous sisters, who still love to rib him about it every time it comes up. All the oranges of Tripoli. It is not enough for everything to stem from Lebanon. No, my father contends. It was Tripoli where oranges first originated. And if my sisters and I had any doubt, just look at the Wikipedia entry for oranges, my father says, his gap-toothed grin widening not unlike an orange split open. Just look. And, like magic, whose origins I'm told are also Lebanese, There, for the world to see, unassailable proof that oranges come not from South China nor Spain, but Tripoli. And I know oranges belong to everyone and no one. And I know my father is not above editing Wikipedia. Did you know Wikipedia may well have Lebanese roots? And his research may be scientifically unsound, like a story heard from an uncle or a cousin. But this is absolutely true. Once, there were vast orange orchards in Tripoli, and when they were in bloom, the whole city smelled like citrus. It was like a beautiful woman's perfume. It was like you could smell sunlight. And during the war, and after, and every time Tripoli burned, imagine the fruit peeled in your palm. Now imagine that fruit is a city. It was unlike anything, he says. I'm telling you, anything. All right, because I teased you about the poem that Ada Limon did not accept for that anthology, I'll finish out with the one that she did. And honestly, in true fashion, she was right. This was the better poem. I still like the other one. Reasons to live. Because if you can survive the violet night, you can survive the next. And the fig tree will ache with sweetness for you and sunlight that arrives first at your window, quietly pawing even when you can't stand it. And you'll heavy the whining floorboards of the house you filled with animals as hurt and lost as you. And the bearded irises will form fully in their roots, their golden manes swaying with the want of spring. Live, 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 live. One day, you'll put your hands in the earth and understand an afterlife isn't promised. But the spray of scorpion grass keeps growing, and the dogs will sing their whole bodies in praise of you, and the red buds will lay down their pink crowns, and the rivers will set their stones and ribbons at your door if only you'll let the world soften you with its touching.